having Kanye West, because I know there's a new guy out named Ye that's a totally different guy.
We don't know.
And respect to both of these people.
We ain't met him.
Kanye West was on that song, and this is the Kanye that we all fell in love with at the time.
Right.
How was that? Like with his meteoric.
Well, we was at the time we already knew each other. John was signed to Kanye, and I was signed to John.
Right.
So it was cousins again. Right?
Sure.
And so it wasn't a hard reach to ask him to do it. It was just finding him and getting the time, because we'd asked him to be on it maybe the day after, a couple months after I recorded it. The team were like, well, how do we make this already juggernaut record into a super juggernaut? How do we make it go? Yeah. And they were like, who's the rapper? Who's the artist? And I was like, do we need one? Big head.
Yeah.
No, I'm confident in my business. Do we need one? Yes, we do. Like, let's just supercharge it. Just give it the things, Estelle. Okay, get out the way, right? Okay, get out the way. So they decided Kanye is like, it's there. Like, it's right there, right? Will Smith, right there.
That's right.
And my A&R at the time, Drew, drove to the airport when I got him. I was at dinner with my homies, and I got a call like, bring your behind to the studio. He's coming right now. I said, right this? Okay. Well,
I just ordered the steak.
Just some chicken, some fried something. Yeah. All my friends from London were there too, so they all came with me.
Nice.
He went in and he literally freestyled it, like did the freestyle melody. I was like fucking with it, and he was like, "What song? What drinks do you guys drink?" I was like, "Ribena." I'm not a big alcohol girl. Yeah. I didn't want to say Belvedere, act like I was, like in the clubs like that. I was like, bruh. Cut to I ended up with a Belvedere deal. But life came at me fast. It was great. It was great. And then he just did it. He did it. He knocked it out, and I went to the club. He was in the VIP. I was on the main floor. Yeah. So I was still having the time. Yeah, it was all with my friends, and that's literally it. Can we talk? Oh, can we talk? Can we talk? R&B.
What's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn, and welcome to another episode, a special episode of the Can We Talk R&B podcast. We're celebrating because this has been a long road, but this is our 50th episode, so we gotta make some noise. Y'all add some noise in post, I guess. I have a very, very special guest, and I'm just so excited to have her here with us today. And who else to bring in an amazing 50th episode than none other than the singer, songwriter, amazing talent from across the pond, is what we say. Estelle in the building. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Pleasure.
I'm wonderful. How you feeling?
I've been great. I'm feeling good. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you for making the time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So this is, what we do on this show is obviously we talk to R&B artists, singer-songwriters, contributors across the board about this genre that we love so much. So I just have to ask you, like I ask everyone else, can we talk R&B?
Absolutely. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So what made you fall in love with R&B?
Oh, my goodness. It is just us. I feel like I don't even know when I specifically started loving R&B. It had many different names before it became the R&B we know today. But it was always in our house. It was always in our house, my auntie's house, my mom, and like our house growing up, my gran, with all of us. It was just always playing in our house. Every version of it played in our house. And our family is the family that's like, it doesn't matter the genre, the type of R&B or the type of music, as long as it's good. Yeah. We can play it. If it's rubbish, it'll get one, but get that out, get out of here. Like, we're not playing that no more. But I loved it. It's just, it's always been in my life. I've never known anything without it.
So growing up in the UK, obviously, is a lot different from here in the US. But in the UK, there's so many amazing talents, right? And so much amazing music there as well. And, I think some of it's borrowed from American style, and there's a lot of give and pull. Yeah. But being from there, like, who were some of your inspirations or influences?
From London, London specifically, because that's where I'm from. I would say I get up into like the late 80s, mid 90s. Junior Giscombe had a song called "Mama Used to Say," which is a big 80s R&B record, soul. You have Soul to Soul. You have those, like the obvious loose ends and all those guys. Sade is pop R&B.
Yeah. Oh, she's R&B for sure.
Yeah, she's R&B.
We adopt her in there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. She got Lambton because we black.
That's right.
But like it was all of those guys growing up that my mum and them used to listen to, and by proxy we did.
Yeah.
And then mixing with like all the American R&B, everyone from Stephanie Mills, Patrice Rushen, all of them.
Yes.
Luther, as we got older.
Come on.
Stevie. Like every single version of R&B was mixed up when we got, as I was growing up. When I got to the mid-90s, it became about R&B artists like Beverly Knight, Misha Paris, Desiree, and younger ones like Kelly LaRock, Shola Ama, the late 90s. And to me, it was just like we just started to see ourselves, like our age range, in the Kelly LaRocks and the Shola Amas.
Sure.
So it started to just move, and it wasn't just like about listening to SWV and Mary J. Blige, and it was like, oh, we have our own, and that inspired me. That absolutely inspired me.
I think that's dope. I mean, when I think about my upbringing, obviously from the 80s and 90s R&B, I'm listening to the Bobby Browns, of course, New Edition, and Boyz II Men, Jodeci, and all those guys. But I really wasn't tuned in to like UK R&B or London R&B until Craig David came along. Like that's when I was like really tapped in. So this is like the late 90s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know when I'm hearing him sing. I'm like, man, this dude, he's dope. Yeah. And then he starts talking. I'm like, hold on.
So it's like this guy's got a whole accent.
Yeah. So I'm saying that to say, obviously the cultures are different but related. Obviously,
we're cousins.
The same. We're cousins, absolutely. But one thing I think specifically about artists from London, the UK in general, to me, they never lost the real soul of it.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know in the U.S., some of us we lost the soul. Not everybody.
It evolved. I would say it
yeah.
evolved because even in its evolving, there's still an unmistakable, undeniable blackness to it.
For sure.
And we can do what we want as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that the UK appreciates and holds on to the idea of a specific sound longer than anywhere else in the world. Yeah. So the US is making records and they just moved on to the next sound of it. The UK is like, nah, we need a few more of those.
Yeah.
We need a few more of that sounding record. We like that sound. We're gonna support that for a few more years, which I love. But that also stems back to when artists would get exiled. From the US and have to go over to Europe and the UK and have full out touring careers and be big in Europe, come back to America and couldn't get a gig, Yeah. But they're stars.
They're still doing that now.
So that's that energy. Yeah. And it's fine. It works.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So tell me how, I guess, coming from, to break in the U.S. Like, tell me that experience, because that has to be. I mean, that's an accomplishment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I look at it like an accomplishment, something major. I mean, obviously, I'm never the first. It was Loose Ends. There was Marsha Ambrosius and Floetry. Yeah, and there were a few others that came right before me and put in work so that I could walk into a door. Yeah. Not it wasn't just the cosign or the walking in sign to John Legend. It was, I had to go work. I had to sing to everybody. Yeah. Every single time I opened my mouth, I had to sing at them. and I wasn't singing the most R&B song either. It was like a pop dance, but that's why I had to give them extra fever. Absolutely. Every single time. And that was part of the proving. When I tell you every time I walked out the house, I had to sing something in every way. That was part of the proving method, the proving of it all. Sure. And I liken it to a presidential campaign. Where people say, like, you have to shake hands and kiss babies in every single state, in every single room, in every single building, in every single way, 5 times a day, sometimes 4 times for the same people, just so they remember you. That's right. It was that.
That's interesting. So from when you first got signed, how was that? Like, did they automatically say, okay, we know we're going to cross you over?
No, it wasn't that at all. It took some convincing on all fronts. I think at core, the label understood who I was. as an artist, they were like, yeah, she's one of the ones that can do all the things. It's just about focusing in and finding that record that gets it out the door and gets it going. And meanwhile, I was just there like, I want to sing this week. I want to sing that, in the studio. Yeah. Arguably wasting studio money, but not a waste for nothing.
I like the arguably,
because we could debate that.
yeah.
But trying to find the record, and I think what got them clear about what this was going to be was, we took American Boy and we played it to everybody. We played it to the urban department. We played it to the pop department. We played it to people's kids. Yeah. People took it home and played it with their families, and everybody was dancing and everybody was into it. And they were like, yeah, this isn't just an urban record or a black record or an R&B singer. She has the capacity to do all of this. Yeah. And so they were 10 toes on that from the start. To the point where they missed some of the R&B side, R&B side of it. And I had to kind of come back around and be like, you missed the R&B records on Shine. Hold on. Yeah. I have another one for you on the next album. It's cool. Thank you. I had to come back and be like, wait a second.
This is what I do.
This is actually the core of who I am. Don't forget. Don't miss this part.
That's right.
And I think it's important. I did it in the UK. I had my core audience love me and they know who I am. And I never got to do that here. Yeah. There was a couple missteps, I want to say, a couple gates we missed. As far as the black community, as far as R&B and soul. And where, like I said, I would show up and sing everywhere, but it's still a certain amount of you have to go to certain areas. You have to go down south. You have to go to the West Coast. You have to go to to Midwest. You have to go and touch the R&B people. Lovers at. That's where the R&B lovers are, and the people, and that's what I love. And I was never scared. I just never got the opportunity to go while I was doing everything else. Sure. So it was that's why I say I liken it to a political run.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So you were able to, I guess to that point, we talk about American Girl, just that sound, this crossover pop sound. Yeah. You were able to, though, bridge hip hop, soul, reggae, all of these styles, all of these genres, essentially, all black music, into this pot, and being from New Orleans, say a gumbo pot.
A gumbo pot,
of these different textures of your sound. Yeah. Where'd that come from?
From being from London. That all came from being raised in a house where, like I said, if it was good, it was good. Yeah. If it was whack, it was whack. Yeah. And my mom was very clear, if that's got too much cussing in it, take that outside.
Rubbish.
And rubbish, that's rubbish. What are they saying? And that's the thing that stuck with me as a child. What are they saying? What's the words? And so, that didn't stop me from listening to the madness. Of course. Outside the house.
Sure.
She was very much that's at school. Yeah. It's not here. Yeah. So we're clear. I know you're listening to it, but make sure it's out the house. And also, just the quality thing. My mom was very much if it's a good pop record, it's a good pop record. It's a good R&B, soul, dance, hip hop, gospel, jazz. She never stopped us from listening to any of it. She just wanted to know what it was. She was very much that parent. What is? Let me hear. Oh, it's cute. Can I sing along? No, you can't, Mom. She was trying. It's hilarious.
What challenges would you say you faced being a black artist from the UK, from London, and doing soul music? Obviously, this is black music, but trying to cross over to to the US and just across the board. I think about artists like Amy Winehouse. I think about Adele. I think about Sam Smith. These are incredible artists that I believe are also doing soul. They're doing soul music, or R.I.P. to Amy, or a version of it. Yeah. Can you talk about some of the, challenges you faced during that?
Amy came out before I came out. I loved her. She was a good friend. We were outside in the same rotations, saw each other frequently, and before we were anything, saw each other in London. Sure. And it was always cool. Yeah. So as we started to bubble up, it's a different energy, a different connect. Because she saw me working, I saw her working, I saw all the stuff. I would call her people and be like, what is, because I care about people in a way that isn't, I tend to care about people in a way that isn't normally the thing that you should do as an artist. But I know what all we put up and what all we sacrifice to to be artists, so I care.
Sure.
You know, so I would call whoever I saw around her, like, why are you letting that? Or no, everyone will wait. Just make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
You know. So Amy came a little before, and Sam Smith and Adele came after.
A lot after. Yeah.
So I don't not the word is not consider them, but I don't. I look at it like we put in work so that they could.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a fact.
They could be, and it doesn't take away from any of their accomplishments or anything.
Course.
In the same way, Loose Ends put in work so I could be, Soul to Soul put in work so I could be. Every singer alive that came out before I dropped a record put in work so that I could be.
Absolutely.
You know, I look at it like that.
Sure.
Yeah, before anyone takes it out of context.
Yeah, I got you.
But the challenges personally I faced were people were just walking up to me being like, oh, you don't, and it would just be completely away from the music, nothing to do with the music. Like, oh, you don't sound like I think you sound like in my head.
Yeah.
And, oh, you do this thing that I don't think that black women that look like you should do. Oh, like, and it was just always that. And I was like, all right, well, do you like the song?
Yeah.
Sing along. I don't care.
Right.
I really don't care. And also maybe, I don't know, when it would get spicy, my response was always like, you should have a passport at your disposal and you should use it.
Yeah.
You should travel. You should stop letting assumptions get the best of you. The arse assumptions, you know. Use that analogy on yourself. Like, stop. Because it's silly.
How do you feel the industry has changed throughout your tenure in the business?
Oh my goodness. I came in right at the edge of complete anonymity works for you, and tell everybody everything. I came in right in that middle line. And it was also the middle line of like where we used to wear business casual to the clubs.
Yeah.
and then everyone was dyeing their hair 11 different colors. I came in at a very random time.
Yeah. What's this, 04, 05?
Like 05, 6.
Yeah, 6, yeah.
Like, this is when I started coming to the US frequently and started to really be around people.
Gotcha.
I'd already had a career, started my career in the UK, so I was already in it.
Yeah.
And moving in a very specific way. And so I had a test run, I want to say. So I came in as a new artist that had a test run, like a real test run. Like, I had top 20 records, like things were moving, UK and Europe, people know me.
Yeah.
Couple people knew me in the US.
Yeah.
So when I came here and they were like, this new artist, they were like, we know her.
Yeah.
She's not new. And I was like, tell them, thank you. But
I'm established.
I mean it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was two people knew me. And that was, that was the established.
Yeah.
But it was a reintroduction, and then it was a work reintroduction that I had never experienced. It was we're looking at real characters, looking at people who looking at a whole different size of an industry, and knowing that I had to show up every single time. There was no version of events that allowed me to like slack. Because the minute I slacked, somebody was going to say some shit. The minute I slacked, the investment that John had put into me was going to be all for naught. Like, the minute I slacked, it was, in my head. It wasn't the truth, but in my head. So I was ready, I
love the point, and I don't hear many people acknowledge this, the balance of anonymity to telling everybody your business.
Yeah.
This is like the birth of social media.
Right.
This is when that's going. So we talk about like the Beyoncés of the world, people like that, the superstardom. And a part of that, Michael Jackson, Prince, was the fact that there was so much secrecy.
You didn't have to say absolutely everything. You could build a story and sell them the story.
Absolutely.
And some of that story had to be rooted in truth.
Of course.
It's your music, and there's some things you have to be able to sell truthfully.
Yeah.
But then it just became, we want to see what you brush your teeth with.
That's right.
I do not want anyone watching me brush my teeth.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain amount of it that I'm absolutely keeping. And I don't believe it helps my music or my career or anything. Sure. And there's a certain amount of it I've had to like learn to be like, okay, it doesn't hurt. You can see this.
It kind of goes, to the point of like, you think about a lot of labels or production companies now, they aren't really interested until they see the numbers versus actually developing or,
what's that?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like some of the most talented people, they have put the work in, they're performing, they've done all this, but they may only have 5,000, 10,000 followers. Yeah. Then you have someone who did something and now they have 200,000, 300,000 followers and you think they're ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a different game. Yeah. And I'm not the person that's gonna be like, oh, I wish it was. No, I the one thing I do want to add to this game now, because it is what it is,
sure,
is just quality.
Yes.
It's just always quality. I would love if while we're giving numbers and views to everybody and their auntie and running it up, or whoever's paying for what, or whoever's getting it organically, beautiful. Work at your craft, because this is what the industry does. It just does this. It cycles. It goes in circles. And there's never going to be a time when you don't have to get up there and do that live. Yeah. There's never going to be a time where you don't have to get out there and sing that thing for the people. You're going to want to do it because you're going to want to, if you're in it for the money, you're going to want to get paid. Yeah. So you're going to have to get up there and do that thing live. You're going to have to get up there and show the people why they gave you all those numbers and all that money. Absolutely. You're going to have to do it. So my thing is just do the quality part. Yeah. Like, be great at the quality part, please. I don't care if you're in this for 3 minutes or if you're in this for your whole life. Yeah. Just do it good. Because if you're in it for 3 minutes and you're good quality, you open the door for somebody else with great quality to get seen, to, you know. Yeah. And you also just maintain the standard. We just want really good R&B. Absolutely. We just want really good music. That's it. Yeah. That's, you know.
I love that point. Even making it, like, comparing it to what I'm doing as a podcaster now. I'm a musician, I'm a singer-songwriter, all that stuff. And I pivoted to podcasting, which is something I'm really thoroughly enjoying, having these conversations with artists like yourself. And I think about, you know, we talk about all the time, even now at our 50th episode. This is fantastic. Yeah. To us, our whole team, you know, it's been about quality. You know, quality conversations, quality guests, quality production, the whole thing. And we're doing our best to give that. So that's definitely important. I take that to heart.
For sure.
When I think about this new surge or this new wave of artists from the UK or from, you know, I don't want to say it wrong, but from UK, London, wherever they're from. I think about like Ray, Cleo Soul, people like that. Are you listening to some of these guys? Are you fans of them?
Cleo Soul walked in like she just walked in like a breath. Yeah. On everything, on everybody. People are trying to find a new Sade. That's the closest, possibly, I want to say. Someone's gonna be like, no, she not. All right, argue, debate your moms. I'm not gonna do it with you. I listen to the energy behind her music and the words and the songs, and I think to myself, this version, today's 2024-25's version of what we would think if Sade had come out this year. This is maybe what she would have sounded like. Yeah. So to me, I like what she's got going. I think she's great. Ray just reminds me of Amy so much. She just reminds me of Amy so much.
Is it the look?
The sound, the sonics, and I don't know if that's on purpose or what, but I just feel like she's hugely influenced by it, and I love it for her. We all come from someplace.
Yeah, exactly. You know, R&B gets art. And I mean, I love Ray. I listen to her. I'm like, her style is so unique. And I do hear that Amy type of twang that she does, but her voice is
Amy came from Dinah Washington.
Yeah.
It came from Sarah Vaughan. Yeah. You know, so R&B.
Yep. Yeah. So you've worked with legends like Kanye, John Legend. Can you talk about some stories or some experiences working with those guys?
Well, John, I will talk about John in this because I feel like I learned so much from being from working with him. Yeah. How would I say this? We started working. He came. Well, actually, I went and found him. Okay. I was like, I need to work with this guy, and I went and found him. And when we started working together, he was like, "Your melodies are second to none. Like, there's no way. I don't know how you do it." And I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "You have a way of words, you know." And that was my knowledge with him, was that he has a way with finding lyrics, finding the words. And he was like, he studied English. I was like, okay, bet, that's got it. I understand. It's English. You got it. Yeah. So that was our mesh. That was our mix. And that, I think, was our chemistry, is that he knew the words, I knew the melodies. You know, he would smooth out, make it sound and feel sexy coming out of your mouth and into your ears. Yeah. And I say sexy in the general sense of it. It just needed to feel
understand how the romance of word.
The romance, exactly. And he does that really well. Yeah. And so us coming together was, to me, like one of my, I like to say, like school. He named the label Homeschool. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like, we are studying each other. It's crazy. So that was one of my greatest, I'm gonna say not my greatest, but one of my best periods of learning and just evolving and figuring out how to just be a better singer, songwriter.
When was this? Like around what timeline
era?
was this?
This is like from maybe 2003 up to 2010.
Yeah.
We worked together. I think I stopped working in 2012. We parted ways because our original agreement was like, let's work together until we don't need to.
Yeah.
And, he was like, I don't want to stand in the way. And I was like, cool.
Gotcha.
And that was literally it. No one knew that we wasn't signed or We just kind of went, which is fine.
It's interesting because I think about John Legend specifically during that period. And this is like, I would say, like the height of his...
Yeah.
He was introduced to us early 2002, 3, whatever, and he just had this meteoric rise, and he's still such an amazing talent.
Yeah.
But I think about the album "Save Room."
Mm-hmm.
He recorded that in London, right?
The song I think he recorded in London with Will.i.am and them. I think that was on Another Again. It was on Another Again.
I can't remember.
Album.
Yeah.
I was in a video for that.
Yeah. That album,
Wild Times.
To me,
that album did okay.
That is one of the best albums.
Let me tell you. So I have this whole meter system with artists where I'm just like, we make records.
Yeah.
And not all of them are amazing.
Yeah.
And that record came out after Get Lifted, right?
That's right.
And I think Another Again was the title song and the
title of the album.
Mm-hmm. And people were like, well, this is no Get Lifted. And I was like, this is his Secret Life of Plants. This is his In Square Circle. You're all going to come back to this album. Everyone
that is my favorite John Legend album.
Okay.
And it's probably... It's one of the best albums of the 2010s.
Cohesive,
man,
beautiful, romantic, really well written. Yeah, and I liked it.
I think it was slept on in a lot of ways. Like when we talk about the best albums of that period culturally, I'm a truist. Yeah. So
a truist? What's that?
I'm true to it. Like I'm true to this. Like that may be a Louisiana word. I don't know.
I like it.
But I'm true to it. Right. Yeah. So I am like, the music has to be there. Yeah. The music has to be there. The songs have to be there. I love all the pop hits. I love all of that. But what keeps me? And it's the records. Yeah. They ain't got to be hits. They got to be good records that speaks to me.
You get it.
So we have this hit. What's a hit? Hits, that's music business talk. But the music part, that's still very important.
The musicality, the whole, I'm going to put this on and ride to it.
Yeah.
And that album, I can do it any day. It makes me sad because there's like moments where I'm just like, I remember this, where I was at this point. I remember when I heard this record when he first played it. I remember like thinking to myself, oh, this need that. And he said, nah, I'm good. And I was just like, oh, my feelings. I remember all of the moments and where I was when that album came out. So it makes it one of my favorites from him.
Yeah. Well, Billboard came out with a list the other day. And,
oh, Lord.
Yeah, exactly. They came with a list, and it's like top 10. Well, they're talking about the best songs, R&B songs, and they're saying ever. And I get real tight about some of these lists.
Subjective.
Yeah. So, no disrespect to because none of the artists on the list I don't disagree with in terms of things that they've contributed. Yeah. But I don't know that the songs specifically that they picked should be the ones. Nonetheless, specifically talking about John, they had Ordinary People as one in the top 10. Amazing song. I personally feel he has
other songs that
are better than the other. And Ordinary People is amazing. Yeah. But other songs that are better that should be, if he's gonna be on that list, he has other records that should be on it.
I agree. I feel like Ordinary People was the start though, right?
Yes.
For him.
That's the one we took him seriously on.
Yeah. And I look at it like that's some people might be like, American Boy, it's her greatest song. It's just like, bro, they're like 50-11 others that, someone else would be like, American Boy is nice, but thank you. Hold on. That's my joint. So it's all subjective, and I think it's always these lists are always based on a personal general favorite, or the one record that they could say, this is the one I met you at. Absolutely. And this is where I will keep you. That's right. For my whole life.
That's right.
Because look, perfect example, he does piano. He can always do piano and vocal performances.
That's right.
And that's because of Ordinary People.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's where people emotionally, mentally see you and are comfortable with you at,
Yeah.
to a degree. So I feel like that's what that is. Huh?
No.
We know if you like what you like, when you know music.
That's right. So you had I guess a real dope pivot. We talked about me. So just so you have an understanding, I've been doing music and around it for my whole life.
Yes.
And starting the podcast, this is again such a rewarding thing for me because I'm still very present in music. Love to be around musicians and so forth and so forth.
Yeah.
You've been able to also pivot with your expand.
Yeah.
I love it. Expand with your Apple Music situations. Can you explain? I guess talk about that journey.
We really do music. You get it. You're a truist. You understand, like, listening to music and debating things and being like, no, I don't like that. This shouldn't have been that. Like, maybe they should have worked with so-and-so producer, or this producer or this engineer would have been a better mix engineer for that, like, tech stuff. Like,
we hear.
Too into it, right?
Yeah.
And we have those debates with my team frequently. Like, I am the queen of, like, absolutely not. That was trash, or no, or you're bugging. That was amazing. Like, I'm the queen of that.
Yeah.
And I have these opinions hard and fast, and I don't change it for nobody.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have those debates, and one time we got into it. Me and my manager got into it in the studio.
Yeah.
Like, you crazy? How you gonna have so and so? We should put blah 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 and da da da. Imagine if so and so had gotten on this record. And the people were in the studio, we were like, you should have a radio show. Now, we'd already pitched the idea maybe in 2016 to Apple, but they were changing. It came back, and I said to my manager, listen, I was like, maybe we should. Like, you should pitch this to Apple. Yeah. And they came back around. We pitched it as a solo podcast, and they came back around and said, we have a radio show. Station. Yeah. You want to be one of our hosts? And I said, well, yes, I'd like that. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. And
it was bigger and my wildest dreams. I started my career doing a few other things behind the scenes. I was an artist always. Yeah. But I wanted to learn radio because I want to know how to get played on radio.
Sure.
I wanted to learn video because I wanted to make my own. Life is always guiding you. Like, the fact that I'm doing a radio show after doing it maybe when I was 19 or 18, 19 for the first time for like 2 years, things will come back around to remind you, like, yeah, you did that then so that you be prepared for now. And like, don't discount those things. If it feels weird that you're doing something that doesn't necessarily sit in line with your view of yourself, that's okay. Like, do the thing. Yeah. It's fine. Like, it's leading you to where you're going. Like, don't judge it. It's gonna be a blessing. You're good.
Absolutely.
So that's what I've learned, and I stay open with that kind of thing. So I'm able to expand and use all of my talents instead of just feeling like I'm just supposed to be a singer. No, there's a few other things I do.
Yeah, multifaceted.
Exactly.
I love it. What's like your proudest moment that you, I guess, to date?
Oh, my days. There's several. See, like, I do a lot of things. Like, there's several. Okay. And this just flashed in my head. I got to sing in front of my granny and my granddad at the same time. They've both left us now. But I remember being in 2012 or 2013. I was in London at Jazz Cafe, and they all wanted to come. Just randomly one day. They never really come. They'll come separately. And my granny had never really come because she was a lot older by the time and was like, I don't want to be bothered getting in the wheelchair, what. Yeah. She's like, you just come see me after the show. So when I would go to London, I would go see her after the show. And this time, her, my granddad on my dad's side, my grandma on my mom's side, my whole family took up like half the side of Jazz Cafe, which is one of the original places I performed. So it was even more special. Yes. And they saw me perform, and that was my proudest. I want to say that made me feel like, okay, I've done it. I could do anything from here. I've done it.
That's beautiful. I mean, I think about, singing in front of family, right? This is something that you do as a kid. Yeah. These are the first people who believe in you. These are your first
or
fans.
Or not.
Okay. That's right. Or not.
So
it's either if they don't believe in you and you actually achieve something,
Yeah.
I told you so.
But not even the I told you so. It's more like I feel like there's like 3% of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be some.
It's gonna be some
yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like what I've learned is you standing as a light gives people permission to be their own light. Because the I told you so, or I don't believe in you sometimes, it's like I haven't seen it done.
Wow.
How are you gonna do it? More than it is, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like, well, girl, how? Which how?
Yeah.
We you know where we're from, how? And I showed the how. You know, it took a lot of sacrifice, and I definitely had a few relatives, I'll say family members, because family versus relatives, who didn't believe.
Yeah.
And vocalized it. And while I was doing it, vocalized how trash it was. I was like, oh, this Grammy's whack.
Yeah.
This whole everything I'm doing,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
weekly and the newspaper and the magazine's trash. Oh, okay. Whatever. But it's the how. It's the you stand in your light when you do it anyway. And I think people either come around or they silently acknowledge. I like to think, well, she showed how. Maybe I should try. You know, and I like to think of it in those terms. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's that's very highbrow of you.
Man, we have to transmute a lot because you know the world wants you to stay in resentment and being pissed, and that doesn't help anything. Right?
No, I love that. I love that. So when you think about your career or your legacy, and like, what do you want people to know? What do you want people to remember you for?
You can do everything you want. You can do everything you want, and you are built to do it. Everything that floats into your heart when it comes to your career, yourself, your life, is meant. Literally, you just have to deduce how and why. That's the important part, the how and the why. I think for me, and I've got so much more to do and so far to go. If I look at my idols, and they range from Eartha Kitt and you know, those guys and Ella Fitzgerald and those people to musically to I don't know. There's like execs and there's like poets and writers who I think are just amazing. Like, how do you dream this stuff up and say things?
Yeah.
And then how do you, as an executive, come up with this idea that turns into this, that turns into that turns into this life-changing technology? How do you, as a producer or musician, what did you do? What how were you supported in life to, you know, I have those kinds of mentors. So I just want people to. I don't always want to be the underdog. I like to live.
Sure, of course.
You know,
of course.
But I also believe that there's anything you want to do, you can do. So I want people to take that from me at this stage. You can do what you want. You can. No. You absolutely can do what you want.
Absolutely. And people need to really know that.
Yeah.
You know?
And don't just sit in that, I can do what I want. Like, do it. Get up and do the thing. Like, what are you talking about?
I get calls from different friends. You know, they'll talk about different things that I'm doing. Yeah. And they're like, man, you're doing it. You're living the dream. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not easy.
What you doing?
But what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you, like, just make the step. And
it's not easy as this. Yeah.
It's not, nothing's easy, right?
Nothing is.
So then when people, with that same, I guess, that same mind frame, you know, just do it. Mm-hmm. Like the Nike logo, like the Nike slogan.
Quite literally.
You know, but that's the hardest thing for people to do.
Which to me is bananas. Which to me is the thing, because you just get up in the morning, right? Yeah. You just breathe in the morning, right? You just brush your teeth, right? You just wash your face, right? You just... What's the issue?
Decide.
You're the issue.
Yeah.
My stomach's telling me, like, yeah. You're the... Like, at some point it becomes you're the issue. You can... you just have to push past the idea that something in your head is telling you, I need to overthink this, or I need to not this, or I need someone did that. So they're not you. Yeah. And it's been in your heart. Do it. Yeah. It's been in your heart. Like, this isn't some brand new thing that just popped up. Like, trust the guidance of your life. Trust the light of your life. Trust yourself. Yes. And do the thing you're supposed to do. It's going to lead you right. It's working for you. All of those things that people say, it's true. That's right. We don't say it, and people don't just throw it in the air and all these books and all these affirmations. It's true. That's right. So just, you know, allez, as my grandma would say, allez, continue, keep going. Allez is like, get on with it. Yeah, move.
What language is that?
French.
That's French.
Yeah,
allez.
Senegalese French. Yeah. Okay. Allez.
Gotcha.
Move, yeah.
What's your favorite song to perform?
All right, so now, because I'll be out here having a ball, like doing the most on all my shows. I really do. I'll be out in the crowd pouring alcohol in people's mouths.
Oh, come
I have
on.
this, no, for real. I have this, like, Lovers Rock was my reggae album, was a reggae album I did. People kept asking me for more reggae songs after Come Over.
Yeah.
I said, cool, here go, whole album.
Mm-hmm.
So stream it. Don't ask me for more reggae records. It's out. Okay.
Yeah.
But that show is my favorite show to do. I go out and I have a soca song in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Called Ain't Your Bitch.
Come on.
And it's like, it's telling people like, you know, I'm gold, I'm royal, I'm amazing, I'm not your bitch. Don't talk to me any kind of way.
Yeah.
And I go in the crowd and I boost people's energy. Like I go and I dance on people and I get them to sing along with me. We are gold. I'm not your hoe.
Yeah.
You know, like repeat these things back to me. I ain't your bitch. Like sing to me. Here's a little story. And to me, part of performing is the physical energy of it. Like winding your waist.
Yeah.
Hands in the air. Put your phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
Like be here with me in the moment. Let
present.
me see them knees, them good knees.
Yeah.
You know, like let's go.
Yeah.
That's my favorite section to perform.
I love that. And that's interesting that you're bigging up, you know, that level of value in yourself or as for a woman.
Yeah.
Because these days the culture is different. These days, you know,
but
a lot of the women aren't really, to me, you know, they aren't representing queendom. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, queendom comes in many different ways.
Sure.
I give people there's stages to it, and I give everyone grace. I don't like when women or people in general, men, women, whatever, however you identify, I don't like when you talk crazy to yourself. Talk crazy about yourself. I'm the friend that's gonna be like, we're not trying, we're doing.
Yeah.
Like I will stop you right where you are.
Nice.
And my friends was like, yes, correct yourself around me. Don't talk crazy to yourself around me. What do you think this is? Like I live in a queendom. What do we think we're doing here?
Yeah.
And so my thing is just always like, I give people grace, get to it. But and I can speak for myself, if you're around me, I like to hear you speak nice to yourself, talk nice to yourself. Say your body listens, your mind listens, everything around you listens. Act like you're holy.
That's right.
Act like you're sacred. Act like this is beauty. You know, and if nobody tells you it, tell yourself that.
Yeah.
You know, scream it from the rooftops.
Yeah, I love that. So we have a section, we're going to switch gears a little bit. It's called the Deep Dive. And this deep dive, we're going to talk about, obviously, one of the songs, this particular song we always introduce you by, American Boy.
Yeah.
How'd that song come about? I remember my first time hearing it, I'm like, man, it sounded like something I had heard in a movie or something before, but it was fresh, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we were sitting, all right, so the technical part, we were sitting I was in Miami for a while, like maybe a long week, working on records with John. He was working with will.i.am, and he was like, yo, my artist is here, she gonna come in, and he was like, cool, so we're gonna go in and work with will.i.am. John's working, and I'm there on the beach for like 2 or 3 of the days.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't have anything to do, let me go and enjoy my good 20-something-year-old self.
Yes, come on.
And I was outside just doing the most, flirting with all the Cuban boys. It was great. We'd never experienced Cuban boys in the UK, so I was just like, this is good times.
Yeah.
Having a time, flirting, numbers was exchanged. It was good. It was lovely. And so I go in the studio with John, and John's like, what you been doing? Like, you look good and brown. What you been doing? I was like, well, I was on the beach. He's like, well, who? I was like, them boys, you know, I was having a time. Like, make it, he's like, I'm little sis. So he's like, what all, what's going on? Like, who is on your phone? What's happening? Like, I'm getting all of the, so he was like, I was like, yeah, let's write about what I've been doing for these past whatever. And he was like, cool. He said, so everyone in the studio was like, oh, she's getting with them American boys. Da, 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 da. And so that's how the whole song came about. All of my personal influences of singing wise are jazz. So the song, the way I sang it was jazz. The intention was Diana Ross and like maybe Polly. There's a show called Heidi High in the UK, and this is a really blonde lady, and she's sing like, she's tall like this, really high, Heidi High, like she's really like ditzy in the air. And so that was my thinking when I sang. I was like, how do I sing a jazz song but in that kind of airy, bright and just fun voice? Yeah. And I sang it with a whole smile on my face the entire time. I believe all that energy is what you're hearing and feeling every time you hear that record. It's just fun, light, joy, and the energy of being on Miami Beach, experiencing brand new energy for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Having Kanye West, because I know there's a new guy out named Ye that's a totally different guy.
We don't know him.
And respect to both of these people.
We ain't met him.
Kanye West was on that song, and this is the Kanye that we all fell in love with at the time.
Right.
How was that? Like with his meteoric.
Well, we was at the time we already knew each other. John was signed to Kanye,
Yeah,
and I was signed to John.
Right.
So it was cousins again, right?
Sure.
And so it wasn't a hard reach to ask him to do it. It was just finding him and getting the time, because we'd asked him to be on it maybe the day after, maybe not day after, a couple months after I recorded it. The team were like, well, how do we make this already juggernaut record into a super juggernaut? How do we make it go?
Yeah.
And they were like, who's the rapper? Who's the artist? And I was like, do we need one? Big head.
Yeah.
You know, I'm confident in my business. Do we need one? Yes, we do. Like, let's just supercharge it. Just give it the things, Estelle. Okay, get out the way, right? Okay, get out the way. So they decided Kanye is like, it's there.
Yeah.
Like, it's right there.
Yeah.
All right. Will Smith. Right there.
That's right.
And my A&R at the time, Drew, drove to the airport when I got him. I was at dinner with my homies, and I got a call like, bring your behind to the studio. He's coming right now. I said, right this? Okay. Well,
I just ordered the steak.
Some chicken, some fried something.
Yeah.
All my friends from London were there too, so they all came with me.
Nice.
He went in and he literally freestyled it, like, did the freestyle melody. I was like fucking with it, and he was like, what song, what drinks do you guys drink? I was like, Ribena. I'm not a big alcohol girl.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say Belvedere, act like I was,
Yeah.
like in the clubs like that. I was like, bruh. Cut to, I ended up with a Belvedere deal. But life came up fast. It was great. It was great. And then he just did it. He knocked it out, and I went to the club. He was in the VIP. I was on the main floor.
Yeah.
So I was still having the time.
Yeah,
it was all my friends. And that's literally it. We performed it together maybe 3 or 4 times. In the entire time we've ever had, we've only performed it 3 or 4 times, which is good. It was the moments.
Sure.
It was the Grammys, it was MTV in Europe, and maybe 2 other times. I can't remember, but maybe 3 or 4 times we've ever performed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, it's just one of those joints that's just stamped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
I prayed for that.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. And my thing is, whether he's on it or not, whatever, I prayed for a record that people would have for the rest of their lives, give to their kids, that would bring them joy, that would make them feel like everything is okay.
Yeah.
Just joy. This is what I prayed about that record. Like, whatever we was going to need it to do, that was a very clear me and God conversation.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm very happy.
I love it.
It works.
So let's switch to this. Your Mount Rushmore of UK R&B artists.
Oh, this is hard. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Oh, this is tough. All right. Because there'll be some people that you guys might not know.
Well, the world may know.
Okay, that's true. All right. So you got Jazzy being Soul to Soul.
So.
Mount Rushmore, right? This isn't like Apollo. This isn't not the Apollo. This is Mount Rushmore. There's like what's this? Mount Rushmore, and then there's another one, and there's the Apollo, and then there's like it just keeps coming down, right? Or just All right. So you got Jazzy being Soul to Soul. You got Loose Ends. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Misha Paris. I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, wait. There's a guy called Lyndon David Hall. He passed away.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Omar. Is that how many people are around?
That's 5, I think. But
Is that right?
it's 4.
It's 4. That's 4 so
5
far?
is good though. 5 is good.
Okay. Switch around Lyndon David Hall with Omar.
Gotcha.
I love Lyndon, but Omar was his forefather, if that makes sense. Omar came out and set us right before. So those are
even if the artists are people that some of us may not know, I'm sure obviously a lot of people do know. This is an edutainment show.
Yeah.
So we're able to say, okay, who's that guy? And go back and listen. That's what it's you know what I'm saying?
Good point,
That's what it's about.
Yeah. Am I throw that? No, I did it right. Desiree's
you.
good. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How much did you make some money? Like how much money did you make?
God has blessed me. Where's the camera? I have been blessed and highly favored, darling. Yeah.
Because it's expensive in LA.
It's expensive in life.
You know what I'm saying?
At this point,
It's expensive in London.
and the tariffs are coming.
Oh man.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, look, blessed and highly favored.
Tariffs going to the UK. Come back here. Oh my gosh.
Feel sorry for me, people. No, no. Blessed and highly favored in all the ways. Like, cannot complain. Real life. Either way.
But you got to give us an idea.
I can't. See, that's the part about the too much information.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You know,
then they're gonna be like,
well, hold on.
Yeah.
She's making. No, I don't. That's the part for me where it's just like, nah, because there ain't enough people. Okay. This analogy you probably won't expect from me.
Let's go.
But there are not enough people that respect the bully. Right, there are not enough people that don't know when to stop at a boundary. And so I don't put myself in situations where people can disrespect me or feel like they can talk to me in any kind of way.
Sure.
So yeah, there's personal things where I'm just like, no, that's nothing to do with anything. But I will say this, it is absolutely about, as an artist, whichever way you go, you always want to make sure all your bases are covered.
Yeah.
So it's natural to me to do a million things or do more than one thing, just sing. But I think it's a blessing that I'm able to do these things because it doesn't land me in a space where the only thing I can do is sing. So that's the only thing I can do. You know, I'm able to take time and be creative because I'm able to do 2 or 3 other things that enable me to live, you know, and music's always there. Like I'd have my business right. I'm always good. You know, there's always residuals. I'm straight. Yeah. But there are other ways to do things.
From throughout history.
Yeah.
They made some money, but they didn't make what they should have made.
Right.
And, you know.
Well, to me, it's also, like I said, the business part of it is the part for me where we can get so distracted by having to be or needing to be the best in this area that we forget that you also have to read a book or two while you're flying. Yeah. And you also have to talk to your team and your business managers like, stop playing with me.
Come on.
Because this is my business and I'm the LLC or the whatever S Corp at the end of the day. And if they coming for me, they coming for me, not your offices.
Come on.
You know?
That's right.
You have to be assertive and learn. And that's the part that we're not taught. And that's the part for me, along with quality, that the artist development should give. Yeah. It's like give young artists and people the language to be able to manage their businesses and manage themselves and stand and trust their gut about some things, even if they don't quite know how that's supposed to run. I don't believe that, and I'm not going for it. Find me a different option. Yeah. You know, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, but you're discouraged as an artist from saying that, especially a young artist, because don't rock the boat, don't piss that person off who's doing so much. The manipulation's real. Absolutely. So I had the test run in the UK, and I came here and I said, oh, absolutely not.
Know what to do. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. So who's your, in terms of new artists now, the newer generation, do you have a favorite?
There's so many. Look, Money Long is my dog, like my little sister, and I think she's so good. Yeah. I have a lot of other artists that I just love in general. And I get excited whenever good R&B is here. Yeah. Or I hear a good R&B song, or I hear a good R&B hook. Like, yo, you singing for blood. Let's go. Yeah. Like, anytime I'll play you on the show. I get so excited about just really good. So like, Money's one of my favorites for sure. Everyone you mentioned, from Cleo Soul to Ray to like even some of you, not even UK artists. Ray Black. There's a little girl called I think her name's Flower of Love. I follow her on Instagram. I know people have Instagram names. Flower of Love, and she's just a young girl. She just does good singing. Yeah. Nia Smith is another singer. think to myself, it just makes me happy. Like, there are some people that just wake up in the morning and breathe singing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
God knows how many hours they put in to be able to just breathe singing.
Of course.
And I feel like she one of them.
Come on.
Like, come on, girl. Like, bro, like, you just, where are you? Who fed you R&B instead of formula?
Yeah.
Who fed you soul music instead of like porridge in the mornings?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
It makes me proud. I get excited about those artists. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, what can we expect from you? Like, what's coming out? You have some new music dropping?
I do, because we continue making music, darling. I have a new album. I'm so excited about this album. It's been 12 years in progress.
Come on.
I put out albums in between, obviously, but this one started in 2012 and it ended in maybe 2021. So I've been sitting on this for a few years, waiting for the right time, and this album comes. Can I say the date? Yeah, I don't know. No, yeah. You can cut it out. You can cut it. Okay. Well, this album comes in spring.
Okay. Yeah.
In a couple months, I'm very excited about it. But we have songs that have been out right now. A song called OI, a song called Fire, and our new song Love on Love comes out now. I guess it might be out right now.
Yeah.
I am so excited about this record. It's almost, I would say it's my best work.
Oh wow.
It's my best work. I put everything I could feel, and I pray about all my records at this point.
Nice.
Yeah, I would pray every single time I went in the session and just be like, God, what do I have to say today? And I learned to stop judging anything that would come out my face.
Love it.
And I would just put it down and leave the studio. And granted, we recorded a bunch of it in the Panini in the pandemic. So there wasn't time, and the 4 hours that I was in there with Keith Harris, the producer, ended up being enough. And so I just put it down. We would spend 4 hours in there and just leave, and he would send me back.
Is this like a one producer album?
Yeah.
So I know it's special.
Yeah.
Because so this is just so many artists, have these bodies of work, and there's 10 different producers on it.
Yeah.
And not saying nothing's wrong.
It works for some people.
It works. The music is good, but I just feel the best music. It's like it's when an artist and one producer or one cohesive team is telling a story.
I agree.
And you just...
Well, in R&B in particular.
In R&B, for sure.
There has to be a through line, right?
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to. I like it when there's a through line.
Sure.
I like it when I could hear and see all of the different ways that you guys were sitting in there pulling that person or saying, I heard this is what I was listening to, and you could see where it all comes from. I like a through line with a record. And Keith and myself have been working. He produced on American Boy. He's one of the producers on American Boy with Will I Am. And so it wasn't hard. And we've done other records since then on various albums of mine and for other people. And so it wasn't a hard ask. It was just like, he was like, I know what you do. And I was like, I know what you do and what you can do. So can you do this?
Yeah.
And the push for him was just like, you just gonna keep, go harder, Keith. Go further, Keith. And it was, and we came up with something I believe is great. I'm just very happy about it. The whole thing about this album is about speaking to people's joy. Reigniting that joy in your spirit.
Love it.
Reminding people that you have it. It's yours. No one gave it to you. The world didn't give it to you.
Yeah.
Like God's spirit, whoever you worship gave it to you.
That's right.
And it's fine. You should use it more.
Yeah.
You should pull it up. You should dance more. You should sing more. You should
preach,
cry more. You should be in feeling more. And get that joy up out of you because the world needs it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Estelle, that's beautiful.
Oh, I'm happy.
Look, thank you.
I'm very excited about this, guys.
I love it. Look, thank you for making the time to come and talk to us. And look, as always, this is a continued conversation. We have Estelle in the building. Can we talk R&B? Bless.
Hey.
Can we talk? Oh, can we talk?
Can we talk?